So, I feel like God's been giving me stuff that's like, I'm like, bro, this would have been helpful like fucking 18 months ago. But God's like, no, it's not the timing. One of the things is like how he's incorporated a lot of like neuroscience and like neurobiology and all that stuff like into my channels. Now, again, I have a very gist I have a very surface level of understanding of neurobiology, but I do understand the way that the brain, requires repetition and certain things. Because I have a healthcare background, I was always into psychology and stuff. And so, sorry, confirmation burps. I took a lot of healthcare classes to understand that our biology, we are confined to it. That's like a big chunk of the reason why we come down here is to experience, that's like why we incarnate at all. It's to experience the biology of whatever planet you're on. So like, like sometimes like we're like mantis beings or something on a different planet. We incarnate to feel the biology of that. And so humans are really a unique species. They're very unique. Even within the galaxy, like there's a lot of different species out there, but humans specifically are very unique. I don't know the reason for that. They just tell me that. Which I can kind of see. Like we're soft and we don't have like an exoskeleton or like an exterior shell that like helps protect us or anything like that. And we don't have like, canines or anything that like, make us predators. So we're like in between like predator and prey. Very strange. Very strange. Us humans. So anyway, I mean, there's lots of different, but like it's hard to explain. That's why I'm like the aliens, like they have to come down and explain some of this stuff because they don't give it to me, first of all, so I can't even explain it even if I wanted to. Second of all, it is far too complicated for me to comprehend it within my brain. That's what's crazy about my channels is they're like, we are literally giving you the gist of stuff, Lauren. Like they don't give me, like some of my stuff like seems specific, but they're telling me it's not compared to like what it actually is. So anyway, one of the things that God has also told me the other day, I was like driving the car and, I was kind of having a bad day a little bit. I was just angry. I was just pissed off. And, I get really kind of like set back when I have days where it's like bad. Like I've been talking about how I have to like go through these like days of like old programming and it's like really rough for me. And it like kind of like shocks me because I'm like, I've been in such a good state that when it happens, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I not feeling 100% good right now? And that's actually a new thing for me because it actually used to be the opposite, where like all I was like in horrible like mindsets, and like once in a great while I'd be like, oh, this is a great day. Like if so, it's very strange what's going on with me lately. Beautiful though, beautiful. I must take a pause and, really reflect on that because I've been an anxious, psychotic mess my entire life. And that's because that's the way I was like wired and all this stuff. I agreed to that, which is also crazy that I agreed to this life sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? I have problems. I have serious issues. Okay, anyway. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? And God's like, well, Lauren, you've been like building trust with me. That's what you've been doing. You've been building trust with me because you lost all this trust all my life. Like God did some shit to me, And I felt like he's been punishing all my life. And actually he was, but he was training. He's like, stop saying punish. It's training. I'm like, felt like punishment, bro. He's like, yeah, that's what training feels like. Feels like punishment sometimes. I'm like, fascinating. So this is what I'm saying. He's been like helping me out here. I'm like, well, if you put it that way, I can't fucking argue it. So I was sitting in the car and he's like, okay, so the days where it's like easy, those are days that you can tell, like, you trust me. You trust me. On days when you're angry, on days when you're mad, on days when you're pissed off, on days when you're sad, on days when you're in fear, he's like, those are days of building. Those are days that you are building the trust with me. So those days are going to be hard. They have to be hard. Because you're still in the building phase of trust with me. You don't quite trust me yet. So until you do, every day that's bad, right? It's like when I just have a bad day sometimes. He's like, those are the days that count the most. where you have to not abandon yourself. You have to get right in your brain and get right with God, where you are like trying to rewire, because like I'll go into rumination where I'll be like, I fucking hate you, you fucking cunt. You have destroyed my fucking life. You are not helping me. You are making things worse. Why can't you just get me the fuck out of this horrible, godforsaken situation? Why do I have to still be stuck here after 30 years? You keep telling me there's going to be something that's going to come help me. Nothing's coming to help me. What the fuck is going on? You know, like I'm having like all these like crazy rumination right now. And in those moments, you know, he's like, you have to rewire that. Because he's like, you have to get to like a coherent state of mind. So like, you have to get into a state of trust with me, even though I've lost all this trust. You know, he's trying to build it back now, and he's done that like through the psychic downloads and by healing my mind and my state of being now that I have good days. I'm like, okay, it's so much easier for me to trust you. But it's like a neuroscientific thing too. Like it takes a while for our brains. We need that repetition. So you don't just like trust God. You have to build that trust. So on days when it's hard, he's like, you have to really be cognizant of not abandoning yourself and like rewiring that, like, I'm gonna help you. I'm coming. You're learning lessons right now. It's not time yet. There's divine timing involved. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but I have to challenge you. And the reason why I have to challenge you is so you can get, you know, you're also building trust back within yourself that you will have yourself when bad things come up. You know, when a bad day comes up, you're not gonna sabotage yourself and like go eat a bunch of bad food like I used to, or go I used to do like, you know, I used to do other things too, you know, that were not good for me that on bad days, or like derugs, you know, that was a big one for me. Or I would be mean to myself. That was another thing, is I would like beat myself up and be like, you're a fucking idiot, you're stupid, you know, like all this like crazy shit. Because that's like what people were telling me all my life. So like it wasn't like I was even like, I realized that like I was not mean to myself. I was programmed to be mean to myself. I also was not a good person all my life, by the way. I was thinking about this the other day. I've done some bad shit, guys. Like some pretty tough shit. Now, it's been out of survival. Like I've stolen money from people. I have lied about certain things that I still like carry shame around it, that like I'm like, it's just like one of those things that can take me a while to like admit to. But like that's what I'm saying. Like there's like, but I like have been able to I've been able to forgive myself for it, because I know it's programming, but I know that other people aren't going to understand that. So that's why I'm like, I still have to learn how to detach still from being misunderstood and all these things. But I'm like, this has just been helping me so much lately with like, you know, if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, oh, this is, God's like, just stop calling it a bad day. It's called a building trust day. This is building trust. You are building your trust within me. And that's what we're all going to have to do. We're all going to have to build our trust back to God or source or the universe or yourself. Like, you know, again, I have been told so many times that the believing in God is not just the magical experience of being a human, but it's actually the way our neuroscience was set up for us to believe in something outside of us. Because like when we're outside of here, we don't get to believe in something outside of us. So that's part of the human experience, because we already know we're omnipotent outside of here. So part of being a human is not being that, and relying and having this trust. And so I do feel like my like rewiring back into the belief of God itself has not only been healing for my inner child, but it's been really good for like my neural pathways, because it helps me because it's like, you know how people are like, give it to God. It does take like half that burden off, because then you're not just blaming yourself. You're like, no, it's your fucking fault, you fucker. It's not just me here. It's fucking you too, bitch. And honestly, that's been so helpful, because all my life I just blamed myself and I stopped believing in God, you know, and I called it the universe, but it wasn't like, for me, actually like personifying God again versus the universe again has helped my neurobiology a lot. Like it's helped me feel safe in my body again, because like, okay, at least I can blame somebody. And I know that sounds strange, but that is the truth. That's like what I'm being told about it. And I do feel like it's actually helped me. So I'm like, well, guys, God literally designed us to blame him. He did. So fucking start blaming him too. You know, like when you're in these like situations, he's like, it's totally chill that you blame me, but I do have to rewire that, because that's like getting out of the programming. And also, it's just like part of my path and all this, because that's like what I'm here to teach people is like to trust God again and like, you know, all this crazy shit. So anyway, I'm like, dude, this would have helped a long time ago. He's like, well, it wasn't time. See, divine timing, that's a thing. I'm like, oh, fuck you. See, he's not always nice all the time.